In my first life, I was a ghost. I haunted the halls of academia, my brilliance a whisper that my sister Mia learned to shout. She was the star, the genius, the one whose name appeared on my research, on my breakthroughs, on the life I was supposed to have. She was my rival, my blood, the architect of my quiet erasure. I died on a rain-slicked road, answering a text from her, a final, fatal summons to help with her latest project. My last thought was of a pattern, a lifetime of being used, and the crushing weight of a victory that was never mine. I watched my sister Mia present my quantum encryption algorithm to the university board. Her voice is a steady, confident hum in the stale air of the conference room. She points to slides I designed, explains equations I derived, and claims months of her grueling research. The familiar sting of betrayal, a phantom limb from a life I've already lost, ghosts across my chest. But this time, I don't flinch. I've lived this moment before, 3 years ago in my first life. The first time, I stood up. I screamed. I was escorted out by security, my protest dismissed as the jealous ramblings of a failed student. This time, I sit silently in the back row, a ghost in truth, invisible to the panel of esteemed professors who hang on every word of her stolen presentation. The air is thick with the aroma of burnt coffee and ambition. My fingers trace the outline of the real research notes, the hard copies tucked safely inside my jacket pocket. They are the tangible proof of my work, the ones she borrowed from my desk last week while I was in the library. She'd been so casual, asking for my help with a minor coding problem, a simple distraction. I knew then what she was really after. I let her take them. I had to. For this new plan to work, the first move had to be hers. Dr. Albright, the head of the department, is beaming. "Truly groundbreaking, Miss Chen," he says, his voice booming with the self-satisfaction of a man who believes he's just discovered the next Nobel laureate. "Your insights into quantum state collapse are revolutionary." Mia's smile is a masterpiece of false modesty. She glances towards the back of the room, her eyes sweeping past me without a flicker of recognition. Does she see me? Or am I just part of the furniture to her now, a permanent fixture in the background of her triumphant life? The taste of bitter coffee floods my mouth, but it's mixed with something else today. Not defeat, acceptance. Not because I've given up, but because I finally understand the game, and this time, I know how to win. Later, walking across the sprawling campus, the crunch of autumn leaves under my sneakers is a sound I never thought I'd hear again. The air is crisp, carrying the scent of damp earth and distant wood smoke. I replay my death not as a memory, but as a data point, a critical piece of the puzzle. It was 3 years from this very day in the previous timeline. The car accident had been brutally swift. It had been raining, a relentless November downpour that slicked the streets into black mirrors. My phone had buzzed. "Mia, Marcus, need you at the lab. Emergency. The simulation is failing." It was always an emergency. My life was a series of her emergencies. I'd grabbed my coat, not even hesitating. Her success was supposed to be our success, or so my parents always told me. I was halfway across the intersection at Elman University when the truck, a behemoth of rust and steel, ran the red light. There was a blare of a horn, a flash of white light, and then nothing. In those fleeting final moments of consciousness, the pattern had crystallized. It wasn't just this one project. It was everything. The regional science fair in high school, my project, her first place ribbon. The scholarship essay that won her a full ride. My words, her name on the acceptance letter. Every achievement stolen, every opportunity redirected to her, every victory snatched away at the last second. My parents, my professors, my friends, they were all willing accomplices, blinded by her charm, her confidence, the easy narrative of the female prodigy. I was just the quiet, awkward brother in the background, necessary for the work, disposable for the credit. Now, reborn into this moment 3 years earlier, the memories are a permanent part of my code. The weight of that knowledge settles in my chest like lead. It's a terrible burden, but it's also a weapon. I know every mistake I made, every misplaced trust, every naive assumption. I know their playbook by heart. The question that has been burning in my mind since I woke up in my dorm room 3 months ago, gasping for a breath I thought I'd lost forever, finally solidifies. I won't fight them this time, not on their terms. I will find a different path to victory, a silent one. That evening, I sit in my cramped dorm room, the window open to the cool night air. Below, in the main courtyard, Mia is celebrating with her friends. Their laughter drifts up, loud and carefree, mixing with the scent of barbecue smoke from someone's grill and the distant, constant hum of city traffic. They are toasting her, the genius, the future of cryptography. My phone buzzes on the desk. A text from Jake, my best friend. Dude, congrats to Mia. Her work is insane. You must be a proud bro. Another from Emma, the girl I've had a crush on since freshman year. Your sister is amazing, Marcus. Tell her I said congratulations. One by one, the messages roll in. Congratulatory texts meant for her, sent to me as an afterthought. Friends who believed her lie. Professors who praised her brilliance. In my first life, I would have replied to each one, a frantic, desperate attempt to set the record straight. I would have felt the anger and injustice burn a hole in my gut. Tonight, I simply look at each message, each glowing testament to her theft, and I press delete. I do it without anger, without sadness. My silence is no longer a sign of defeat. It's a choice. It's a strategy. My plan begins to form in the quiet of my room, a patient, methodical algorithm of its own. It's a long game, one that requires absolute silence and precision. I open my laptop, the screen illuminating my face in the darkness. My fingers find the keyboard. It's time to begin the real work, the work they'll never see coming. 3 days later, I'm in the university's public computer lab. The air smells of hand sanitizer and stale coffee. I sit at a terminal in the corner, far from the security cameras, my hoodie pulled up. My fingers fly across the keyboard, a blur of motion. I'm not working on the algorithm Mia stole. I'm submitting my second one. This new algorithm, codenamed Janus, is months ahead of what she presented. It's the evolution of that work, refined through sleepless nights and the incredible advantage of foresight. I know the exact vulnerabilities of her stolen version because in my first life, I was the one who spent 6 months fixing them after its initial failure. This time, I built the solutions in from the beginning. I'm submitting it to the International Cryptography Competition, the most prestigious contest in the world for young researchers. I'm not using my own name. That would be too easy to trace, too simple for them to dismiss. I use a pseudonym, Dr. Alastair Finch. A name with no history, no baggage, no connection to the overlooked brother of Mia Chen. The submission confirmation email arrives within minutes, a simple automated message. Submission received, thank you, Dr. Finch. The timestamp on the email marks the real beginning, not of a fight, but of a quiet, calculated demolition. Outside, a light rain begins to patter against the tall library windows. The sky is turning a bruised purple. I wonder if Mia, in her new corner office at the research center, has noticed how quiet her brother has become. I wonder if she feels the first chill of the coming storm. The competition deadline is in 6 weeks. Just as I'm logging out, a news alert from the university's official feed pops up on the screen. Mia Chen, cryptography prodigy, announces entry into international competition. The article features a smiling photo of her, standing in front of my equations. She's entering using her quantum encryption as the foundation of her submission. The game is on. Sunday dinner at my parents' house feels like a meticulously staged performance. The dining room is thick with the aroma of my mom's roast chicken, but it can't mask the cloying scent of unspoken tension. The table is set with the good china, the kind reserved for holidays and special occasions. Apparently, my sister's grand theft larceny now qualifies as a special occasion. My father, a man whose pride has always been a tangible force in our house, raises his wine glass. The crystal catches the light from the chandelier overhead. A toast, he announces, his voice resonant with emotion. To Mia, to her incredible breakthrough. We always knew you were destined for great things. Our little genius, Mom coos, her eyes shining with tears of joy. She bustles around the table to refill Mia's plate with another slice of chicken, completely ignoring my empty one. I sit at the edge of the table, a spectator at my own family's celebration of my erasure. I chew a piece of overcooked carrot slowly, tasting nothing but ash. They discuss Mia's bright future. They talk about the research grants she'll win, the professorships she'll be offered, the life of academic stardom that awaits her. Mia accepts the praise with practiced grace, a queen holding court. At one point, she glances at me just for a second. There's a gleam in her eyes, a flicker of something sharp and knowing. Does she remember? Does she know that I remember everything? Or is this just the casual cruelty of a victor? A quick check to ensure her victim is still properly vanquished. I offer her a small, empty smile and look down at my plate, letting them believe what they want. Their blindness is my shield. Jake corners me the next day after advanced mathematics. The classroom is empty, smelling of chalk dust and the faint, citrusy scent of his cologne. He leans against a desk, all casual friendship and feigned concern. "Dude, I heard about your sister's research," he starts, his voice low. "It's wild. Seriously game-changing stuff. Why didn't you tell me you were working on the same thing?" The accusation is veiled, but it's there, hiding beneath the surface of his words. Jake isn't just my best friend. He's a fellow cryptography student. He knew about my work. I'd spent countless nights in the lab with him, bouncing ideas off him, even letting him help me debug some of the early, frustrating versions of the code. He saw my name on the whiteboards. He saw the files on my computer. I watch his face carefully, searching for a flicker of guilt, a hint of shame. I find nothing. There's only a calculating curiosity in his eyes, the look of someone trying to figure out how he can play this new situation to his advantage. "Sometimes people see what they want to see, Jake," I reply, my voice flat. I gather my books from my desk, the scraping sound loud in the quiet room. He frowns, his bro-friendly mask slipping for a moment. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means congratulations to my sister," I say, walking past him towards the door. "She's very talented." I don't look back. I can feel his eyes on me, trying to decipher the new, unreadable version of his old friend. Dr. Chen's office reeks of stale green tea and old paper. The walls are lined with plaques and awards, trophies of a long and storied career. In my previous life, I ghost-wrote the research for 2 of those plaques. He was my mentor, the man who was supposed to guide me. Instead, he had guided my work straight into Mia's hands. "Marcus, come in. Sit down." He gestures to the worn leather chair opposite his desk. He leans back, steepling his liver-spotted hands over his round belly. "I've been reviewing your recent work. It's adequate, solid. But I must be honest, your sister's breakthrough changes the landscape entirely." He says it with a dismissive wave of his hand, as if my months of painstaking research are a triviality. A minor footnote in the grand epic of Mia's genius. The irony burns in my throat, hot and acidic. I helped this man secure his tenure. My anonymous contributions were the foundation of his late career resurgence. Her work is of a different caliber, Marcus. It shows a level of insight that is truly rare. He looks at me over the rim of his glasses, his expression a mixture of pity and finality. "Perhaps you should consider switching your focus. Data analysis, maybe? There are many respectable career paths that don't require theoretical genius." He is burying me. In the first life, his words had crushed me. This time, they are just fuel. I nod slowly, my face a carefully constructed mask of disappointment. "I understand, Professor. Thank you for your honesty." I stand up and walk out of his office, leaving him to his tea and his stolen glory. I see them in the library, tucked away in a corner carrel. Emma and Mia, their heads bent close together over a printout of her research notes. Emma's laugh, a sound that used to make my stomach flip, echoes softly in the hushed space. My heart hammers against my ribs as I approach their table. The familiar sweet scent of Emma's vanilla perfume fills my senses, a scent I associate with hopeless yearning. "Hey, Marcus," Emma says, looking up with a bright, welcoming smile. It falters slightly when she sees my face. "Oh, hi." "We're just going over Mia's algorithm," she continues, her voice filled with a genuine, bubbling excitement. "It's incredible work. I can't believe how elegant the solution is." The admiration in her voice, the way she looks at Mia, is a knife twisting in my chest. In my first life, she never looked at me that way. She saw me as Mia's quiet, socially awkward brother, a friend, nothing more. Now she sees Mia as a star. She's always been talented, I managed to say, my voice sounding distant to my own ears. I watch as Emma's attention, her entire world, drifts back to the stolen work on the table, back to my sister. I'm invisible again. I turn and walk away, the silence of the library pressing in on me. I'm walking home through the campus quad as evening settles, the streetlights casting long, distorted shadows on the wet pavement. My phone buzzes in my pocket. It's a group text from Jake. Mia's research group meeting tomorrow, 7 p.m., Lab 3. You should come support your sister. Immediately, the thread fills with replies. Hearts from Emma, a string of clapping emojis from another classmate. Can't wait. She's going to win that competition for sure. So proud to be on her team. The messages are a rapid-fire barrage of praise and congratulations, all directed at work that consumed my nights, my weekends, my very soul for the better part of a year. I stop beneath a single lonely lamppost, the light creating a small island in the darkness. A cool mist of rain begins to fall, clinging to my face and hair. I read the messages again, feeling the full, crushing weight of their collective betrayal. My parents, my best friend, my professor, my crush, my classmates. An entire circle of my life, closed and locked against me, with my sister standing radiant in the center. In my first life, this would have been the moment I broke. But something else is stirring in my chest now. It's not despair. It's a sharp, sweet anticipation, like the first clean breath of morning air after a storm. They've all made their choice. They've picked their side, and they have no idea what's coming. I'm still staring at my phone when another message comes through. This one, a direct message from Mia. Heard from Dr. Chen, you might be changing your focus. Probably for the best. Some of us are just built for this kind of work. I read it once, then twice. Then I get a notification from the International Cryptography Competition's online portal. A preliminary list of entries has been posted. I see her name, Mia Chen. And a few lines down, I see another. Dr. Alastair Finch. I close my phone and continue walking through the rain. I just overheard Mia telling Emma she had a secret advantage that would guarantee her victory. I smile. I have one too. 2 weeks before the competition's preliminary results are announced, the cracks in Mia's facade begin to show. I watch her from a distance, a silent observer of her self-inflicted demise. She's in the library's 24-hour computer lab, a place that hums with the low thrum of servers and desperation. The fluorescent lights overhead are unforgiving, casting harsh shadows that deepen the weary circles under her eyes. She's struggling, it's plain to see. My stolen work, the foundational algorithm, had been brilliant, but the competition's second phase isn't about regurgitating a finished product. It demands advanced proofs, theoretical extensions, and a deep, intuitive understanding of the underlying principles. It demands originality, and that is the one thing Mia cannot steal from me. She stares at a screen filled with equations she doesn't comprehend, her frustration a palpable energy in the quiet lab. She types a line of code, deletes it. She scribbles a formula on a notepad, then violently crosses it out. My work carried her to the edge of the cliff, but now she has to build her own bridge to the other side, and she doesn't have the tools. I pretend to be engrossed in a textbook on signal processing, but my attention is fixed on her. I note every equation she attempts, every theoretical path she explores and abandons. I am mapping her failure point by point. It's inevitable that she comes to me. The pattern is as old as our childhood. When the puzzle became too hard, when the homework was too complex, she would always turn to her quiet, brilliant brother. She finds me in the campus coffee shop, the air buzzing with the chatter of students, cramming for midterms, and thick with the aroma of espresso and anxiety. She slides into the chair opposite me, offering a sweet, tired smile that has always been her most effective weapon. "Marcus," she says, her voice a soft practice plea. "I'm so sorry to bother you. I'm just hitting a wall with this competition submission. You've always been so good with the numbers, the pure theory. Could you just take a quick look? Check my calculations?" She pushes a stack of papers across the table. It's her attempt at the advanced proofs. They are a mess, a chaotic jumble of half-formed ideas and logical fallacies. And threaded throughout the mess are deliberate errors, mathematical traps I knew she wouldn't be able to spot. I had anticipated this exact moment, this exact request. I pick up the papers, my expression one of solemn concentration. I scan the pages, my pulse hammering a steady, triumphant rhythm against my ribs. I can feel her watching me, her hope hanging in the balance. After a few minutes, I set the papers down and meet her gaze. "Looks good to me," I lie. My voice is even, betraying nothing. I offer her a small shrug, a gesture of casual dismissal that hides the victory screaming inside me. The logic seems sound. The relief that washes over her face is a physical thing. Her shoulders relax, the tension drains from her jaw. "Oh, thank you, Marcus," she breathes. "You're a lifesaver." She gathers the papers, her instrument of self-destruction, and practically floats out of the coffee shop. I take a slow sip of my cooling coffee. The first trap is set. That night, my dorm room is a command center. The only light comes from my laptop screen, casting a blue glow on my face. I'm not celebrating, I'm executing the next phase of the plan. I log into the International Cryptography Competition's online portal, but I don't go to the submission page. I navigate to a different section, one buried deep in their terms of service, the Anonymous Ethics Reporting System. I begin my work. The evidence I've compiled is meticulous, damning, and irrefutable. I upload the original files of my algorithm, complete with metadata showing creation dates that predate Mia's discovery by almost a year. I upload revision histories, documenting every stage of my work. I even upload timestamped security footage from the library, obtained through a simple public records request, showing her at my desk on the day the research notes went missing. Then, I upload a detailed line-by-line analysis of her submission, cross-referencing it with my original work and highlighting every stolen element, every plagiarized concept. My hands are steady as I click Submit. A small green checkmark appears on the screen, a digital confirmation of her impending doom. Your report has been received and will be reviewed by the Ethics Board. Outside my window, the campus sleeps peacefully under a blanket of stars. They are all dreaming, blissfully unaware that justice is being executed in the quiet of the digital darkness. The fallout begins not with a bang, but with a whisper. 3 days after my anonymous report, the Ethics Board launches a preliminary investigation. And in the closed, incestuous world of academia, whispers travel faster than light. The news first appears on an obscure academic gossip forum, a place frequented by grad students and disgruntled professors. Rumor mill, rising star Mia Chen's competition entry under review for academic misconduct. I'm in the university cafeteria, eating a slice of greasy pepperoni pizza when I see it. I watch from across the cavernous room as Mia's world begins to unravel. She's sitting with her research group, the ones who were so eager to praise her. I see one of them lean over, show her something on his phone. Her face, usually so composed, crumples. The color drains from her cheeks. She presses her own phone to her ear, her voice rising in panic. "There has to be some mistake," she insists, her voice cracking with a desperation that carries across the noisy room. "It's my work. I have the notes." Her group, her loyal followers, begin to scatter like startled birds. They find sudden, urgent reasons to be elsewhere. An appointment they forgot. A class they need to get to. Within minutes, she is sitting alone at the large table, a pariah in the making. The pizza turns to ash in my mouth. I watch the first domino fall, and I feel nothing but a cold, clean sense of order being restored. She corners me after our shared advanced dynamics class. She's a storm of panicked energy, her eyes red-rimmed and wild. The clean, floral scent of her expensive perfume is tainted by the sour smell of stress sweat. "Marcus, they're saying I plagiarized. They're saying the work isn't mine. You have to help me," she pleads, grabbing my arm. Her fingers, usually so delicate, dig into my sleeve with a desperate strength. Students stream around us in the crowded hallway, their conversations dropping to whispers as they pass. Some slow down, staring openly at the spectacle of the university's golden child in the midst of a meltdown. "What do you want me to do, Mia?" I ask. My voice is the calm at the center of her hurricane. I gently remove her hand from my arm. Talk to them. Talk to Dr. Chen, to the board. Tell them you saw me working on it. Tell them. Tell them you helped me, that we collaborated. The plea hangs in the air between us. She wants me to lie for her, to implicate myself in her fraud to save her from the consequences. The audacity of it is almost breathtaking. I can't do that, Mia, I say, my voice as soft as steel. I have my own work to focus on. I walk away, leaving her standing alone in the middle of the hallway, the whispers of our classmates closing in around her. 24 hours later, it's official. The competition sends out a formal announcement, disqualifying Mia Chen from the finals. Their statement is brief and brutal, citing substantial and irrefutable evidence of academic misconduct. She appears at my dorm room door at midnight. She looks like a wraith, her face pale and tear-streaked, her mascara running in black rivers down her cheeks. She's clutching a printout of the ethics board's accusations. Please, Marcus. Her voice is a raw whisper. I know we haven't always been close. I know I haven't been a good sister, but you're my brother. You have to say something, anything. The harsh fluorescent light of the hallway makes her look older, more fragile than I have ever seen her. The invincible queen is gone, replaced by a desperate, broken girl. I stand in the doorway, my body a physical barrier, blocking her entry into my space, my life. I look at her, at the architect of my first death, and I feel a cold, hollow space open up in my chest. Is this what justice feels like? It's not triumphant. It's just empty. There's nothing to say, Mia, I tell her, my voice quiet but final. You did this to yourself. I close the door softly in her face. I lean against it, listening to the sound of her ragged sobs fading as she walks away down the empty hall. As she leaves, her last words are a choked whisper through the wood, a promise and a threat. I know you're hiding something, Marcus, and I'm going to find out what. 3 weeks after Mia's spectacular implosion, the campus is still buzzing. Her name has become a cautionary tale whispered in labs and lecture halls. I try to keep my head down, focusing on my own work, but the past isn't finished with me yet. Jake approaches me in the campus cafe, sliding into my booth with a conspiratorial grin. The air is warm, smelling of ground coffee beans and baking pastries, a scent that does nothing to mask my rising anger. So, crazy business with your sister, huh? He says, leaning forward. Total nightmare. But hey, every crisis is an opportunity, right? I just stare at him, waiting. He clears his throat and pulls a memory stick from his pocket, sliding it across the polished table. Look, with Mia out of the competition, the field's wide open. I've been doing some work on my own, and it turns out it's remarkably similar to some of your early concepts. Great minds think alike, I guess. He winks. He's not even trying to be subtle. He has somehow gotten his hands on my backup research files, the ones I thought were safely encrypted on my personal drive. He must have copied them during one of those late-night sessions in the lab back when I still trusted him. What I'm thinking, he continues, his voice dropping to a low murmur, is that we could collaborate. Unofficially, of course. Pool our resources. We could blow the competition out of the water. With my ambition and your technical skills, we'd be unstoppable. His smile is oil slick smooth as he says it. He's offering to partner with me using my own stolen work, presenting it as his. The sheer, unadulterated gall of it is staggering. He sees me not as a person, but as a tool he can pick up now that Mia has broken. That sounds interesting, Jake, I say, my voice carefully neutral. I manage to keep my hands from shaking, from balling into fists. The fury is a living thing behind my ribs, but my face is a calm, placid lake. Let's talk about it. And so begins the next phase of the game. I agree to his partnership. We schedule daily work sessions, meeting in the library's basement level, a subterranean world of humming servers and flickering fluorescent lights. The air down here is cool and dry, tasting of old books and broken promises. Jake plays the role of the collaborative partner to perfection. He's encouraging, complimentary, full of energy. You're a genius, Marcus, you know that? He'll say, clapping me on the shoulder. You just need someone like me to help you sell it. He asks leading questions, trying to extract more of my knowledge, to fill the gaps in the research he's stolen. I play my own part just as carefully. I am the gullible, socially awkward nerd, flattered by the attention of my charismatic friend. I feed him carefully crafted information, elegant looking equations that are full of subtle flaws, theoretical paths that lead to elegant, spectacular dead ends. Each piece of data I give him is a new brick in the wall of his own prison. The flickering lights overhead seem to dance with my deception. While Jake believes he is the master manipulator, I am the silent archivist of his downfall. My new phone, a top-of-the-line model with encrypted storage and advanced recording capabilities, is my constant companion. I document everything. Every conversation is recorded, every email saved, every text message screenshotted. He grows comfortable, arrogant in his belief that he has me completely fooled. He starts to boast. "You're too trusting, Marcus," he says one night, laughing as we pack up our laptops. The recorder in my pocket captures every word. "That's your problem. In this field, you have to be ruthless if you want to succeed. Take what you can get. It's a Shark Tank." The irony is a delicious private joke. He, the self-proclaimed shark, is swimming directly into a steel cage of his own making. He has no idea that I am not a minnow. I am the man who designed the tank. "I guess you're right," I say, offering him a sheepish smile. I am playing the part of the useful fool, and he is eating it up. While he dreams of the victory he's going to steal, my real work, the work of Dr. Alastair Finch, continues in the dead of night, moving further and further beyond his comprehension. 2 days before Jake plans to submit our research to a different fast-tracked competition under his name alone, I make my move. I don't use an anonymous tip this time. I walk into the Dean of Students' office and request a formal meeting. Dean Rodriguez's office is paneled in dark mahogany, smelling of leather and old paper and power. She listens patiently as I lay out my case, my voice calm and steady. The evidence package I provide is comprehensive and devastating. There are the audio recordings of Jake admitting to his plan, laughing about my naivety. There are the time-stamped files from my personal drive proving my ownership of the original research. There are his own emails to a colleague, outlining his strategy to leverage Marcus's work for a solo win. The dean's face grows more and more grim as she reviews the evidence. "This is deeply troubling, Mr. Chen," she says, her voice cold with anger. "The university has a zero-tolerance policy for this kind of behavior. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. We will take swift and decisive action." The promise feels like a physical weight lifting from my shoulders, though I keep my expression appropriately somber and concerned. The trap is laid. All that's left is for the target to walk into it. I'm crossing the main quad when I see him. Jake is striding confidently out of the student mail center, whistling a cheerful tune. He's on top of the world. He thinks he's just days away from a major victory. Then he starts flipping through his mail. He stops dead in his tracks. I watch from a distance as he tears open a thick, official-looking envelope from the university. His confident posture sags. His face cycles through a rapid-fire series of emotions: confusion, disbelief, anger, and finally, raw, naked fear. "Marcus!" he shouts, spotting me across the quad. "Marcus, wait up!" He jogs toward me, his face pale, a sheen of sweat on his forehead despite the cool morning air. The cherry blossoms are blooming all around us, their sweet, delicate scent a bizarre contrast to his sour desperation. "There's been some kind of insane misunderstanding," he gasps, waving the letter from the Honor Council in my face. "They think I stole your work. They're summoning me for a hearing. You'll set them straight, right? You'll tell them we were partners." He looks at me, his eyes wide with a desperate, pleading hope. He still thinks I'm his pawn. The Honor Council hearing room is a sterile, soulless place. The fluorescent lights hum with an irritating buzz. Jake sits at one end of a long table, his lawyer beside him. I sit at the other, alone. The evidence plays out with methodical, brutal efficiency. Dean Rodriguez presents the files, the emails, the timestamps. Then, she plays the audio recordings. Jake's own voice fills the silent room, arrogant and mocking. "You're too trusting, Marcus. In this field, you have to be ruthless. It's a Shark Tank." The color drains completely from Jake's face. He stares at me, his mouth hanging slightly open. The bravado, the confidence, the charisma, it all melts away. leaving behind a hollowed-out shell of a man. You set me up, he whispers across the table, his voice barely audible. His eyes are wide with the horror of a creature realizing it's not the predator but the prey. I meet his gaze, my expression unreadable. I can taste the metallic tang of justice on my tongue. I simply documented the truth, I reply, my voice even. When the hearing is over, two campus security officers escort a stunned, silent Jake from the room. His academic career is over. News of Jake's expulsion for academic theft spreads across campus like a virus. His name is added to the National Academic Dishonesty Database, a permanent black mark that will follow him for the rest of his life. I find Emma in the student union later that day. The air is filled with the smell of fresh pastries and coffee. She rushes over to me, her face a mask of sympathy. Marcus, I just heard about Jake. I can't believe he would do something like that. To you, his best friend. You must be devastated. Her sympathy feels hollow, performative. She still doesn't see me. She sees a victim, a poor, hapless nerd who keeps getting taken advantage of. The narrative of my weakness is more comfortable for her than the truth of my strength. Sometimes people aren't who we think they are, I say, my voice noncommittal. I excuse myself before she can offer any more empty, useless comfort. I need to be alone. That evening, as I'm working in my room, my encrypted phone buzzes with a new message. It's from an anonymous, untraceable number. The message is short. Two down, but I know who you really are. The game's just beginning. A chill runs down my spine. It isn't Mia. The tone is different, colder, more intelligent. Someone else is watching. Someone else knows. Dr. Chen's office feels smaller now, the walls of his past achievements closing in on him. His prized plaques seem tarnished, his books dusty. Since Mia's disqualification and Jake's expulsion, both students from his own department, enrollment in his prestigious advanced seminars has plummeted. The stench of failure clings to him, a scent that not even his expensive jasmine tea can mask. He summons me to his office under the guise of discussing my progress. He shuffles through a stack of papers on his desk, papers containing my latest, most groundbreaking research, the work I've been doing as Dr. Alastair Finch. I had submitted a draft to an internal university review board, a necessary step before publication, and he was on that board. Marcus, he begins, his voice lacking its usual booming confidence. I've been reviewing your work, your recent discoveries. He stumbles over the word as if it pains him to attribute it to me, and I think we need to have a serious discussion about attribution. His liver-spotted hands tremble slightly as he straightens the papers into a neat pile. After all, you developed these complex concepts under my guidance, within the framework of my department. Academic tradition, as you know, demands proper crediting for a mentor's contribution. He is going to steal it. He's not even trying to be clever about it. He's cornered, his reputation is in tatters, and he sees my work as his last, desperate lifeline. He will attach his name to it, claim it as a product of his mentorship, and ride my genius back to respectability. In my first life, I would have been intimidated. This time, I feel a strange sense of pity. 3 days later, I'm in the library, scrolling through the latest online edition of the Journal of Advanced Cryptography, the most respected publication in our field. And there it is, a feature article. A New Paradigm in Quantum Encryption by Dr. Martin Chen. He didn't even wait. He must have used his editorial connections to fast-track the publication, submitting it while I was busy attending Jake's final expulsion hearing. The library's computer screen glows with a harsh blue light as I read my own words, my own elegant proofs, my own revolutionary conclusions, all under his name. The library is bustling with the quiet energy of students studying, oblivious. They don't know they are in the presence of a grand heist, that they are witnessing the brazen theft of months of work that will redefine their field. My hands are on the keyboard, and for a moment they tremble. Not with rage, with pure, unadulterated anticipation. He has just made the final fatal mistake. I play my part one last time. I request an emergency meeting with Dr. Chen, storming into his office with a printout of the article, my face a carefully constructed mask of devastation and betrayal. I don't understand, Professor, I stammer, my voice thick with fake emotion. This is my research. These are my words. How could you publish it? How could you do this without my knowledge? His office chair gives a self-satisfied squeak as he leans back, the picture of condescending sympathy. Now, Marcus, calm down, he says, his voice dripping with honey from a broken poisoned hive. Academic collaboration is a complex thing. Your contributions were, of course, valuable. That's why your name is noted in the acknowledgments section. A fine credit for a graduate student. The afternoon sun slants through his window, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. They seem to be celebrating his victory, a victory he thinks is absolute. He believes he holds all the cards. He has no idea that I own the entire casino. That night, the game changes. I sit in my dorm room, the anonymous message from the other day echoing in my mind. I know who you really are. It's time the rest of the world knew too. I open my laptop and log into an account I've kept hidden for 3 years. It's not a student portal or a social media profile. It's the author dashboard for a series of internationally recognized research papers, a secure server for a government contractor, the personal account of one of the world's most respected and most mysterious cryptographers. The name on the account is not Marcus Chen. It is Dr. Alastair Finch. In the 3 years since my rebirth, I haven't just been playing a game of revenge. I've been building a new life, a new identity, in the shadows. Under my pseudonym, I have published 3 revolutionary papers. My work has been cited over 10,000 times. I am a keynote speaker at conferences I attend via secure video link. Dr. Alastair Finch is a legend in the world of quantum cryptography, a genius recluse who is poised to change the world. And the irony is so thick I can taste it. My washed-up, desperate professor has just plagiarized the work of a man who is already infinitely more accomplished and respected than he will ever be. My fingers are steady as I compose a new email. It is addressed to the editorial board of the International Cryptography Review, the governing body of our field. The subject line is simple, regarding Dr. Martin Chen's recent publication. Before I can hit send, my secure phone buzzes. It's an encrypted message, a ghost on the network. The sender ID is just a single letter, W. Director Walsh, head of the NSA's Cryptographic Research Division, my primary employer. Dr. Finch, we've been monitoring the situation at your university. Are you ready to proceed with Phase 2? The text glows green on my screen, a quiet affirmation of the power I have been building in secret. My rebirth didn't just give me knowledge of the past, it gave me a 3-year head start on the future. I have spent that time cultivating relationships with intelligence agencies, tech giants, and powerful research institutions, all under my pseudonym. They know my work, they value it, and they protect it. My reply is simple and direct. Authorization confirmed, initiate exposure protocol. The protocol is swift and overwhelming. Walsh doesn't just contact the academic journals. He contacts the university's board of trustees, the federal funding agencies that support the department, and the national security committees that oversee intellectual property. Within hours, the cryptographic community doesn't just whisper, it erupts. Dr. Chen's theft is no longer a simple case of plagiarism. It's a major international incident. He has committed intellectual property theft against a classified government contractor. He has stolen from Dr. Alastair Finch. I watch from my dorm room window as the news vans begin to arrive on campus, their satellite dishes pointing towards the sky like metal sunflowers. Reporters are swarming the administration building, eager to get a comment on the academic scandal of the decade. The taste of my instant coffee can't mask the sweetness of vindication. My phone starts ringing and it doesn't stop. The New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Wired. I can see the light on in Dr. Chen's office, a single square of yellow in the dark building. I imagine him sitting there, his world crumbling around him, finally understanding the catastrophic nature of his mistake. The next day, the International Cryptography Competition Committee, the same one that disqualified Mia, issues a formal public apology. They announce they are retroactively awarding their highest honor, the Turing Medal for Young Innovators, not to the winner of the competition, but to Dr. Alastair Finch for his body of work. They also announce that Dr. Finch has agreed for the first time ever to accept the award in person. I stand on the stage of the convention center, the spotlight hot on my face. The weight of the solid crystal trophy is cool and heavy in my hands. The air is filled with the sound of 1,000 people applauding and the pop, pop, pop of camera flashes like a galaxy of tiny, bursting stars. In the third row, I see Emma. Her face is a pale, shocked mask, her eyes wide with a dawning, horrified comprehension. The presenter's voice booms through the auditorium. Ladies and gentlemen, a true genius, a man who has changed our field forever. Please join me in congratulating the youngest recipient in our organization's history, Marcus Chen, also known as Dr. Alastair Finch. Walking off the stage is like walking into a different reality. The energy in the room has shifted. The air crackles with it. I am no longer Marcus Chen, the quiet, overlooked student. I am Dr. Finch, the prodigy, the power player. University officials who wouldn't give me the time of day a week ago are now pressing forward, their hands outstretched, their faces beaming with manufactured pride. We always knew you had it in you, Marcus. An honor for our university. Job offers, research grants, endowed chairs. They offer me everything, their words tumbling over each other in their haste. The air conditioning carries the scent of ambition, money, and opportunity. My phone buzzes incessantly in my pocket. Tech companies, government agencies, international research institutions. The boy they had made invisible had become the man they couldn't afford to ignore. The balance of power had not just shifted, it had been shattered. As I make my way through the crowd, a path parting before me as if by magic, I scan the faces, looking for the one that sent me the anonymous message. Then, near the exit, half hidden in the shadows, I spot a familiar figure. It's Mia. She's staring at me, her own academic dreams now nothing but dust. And the expression on her face is one I've never seen before. It's not anger. It's not jealousy. It's pure, undiluted fear. The family dinner table is a tribunal. The good china gleams under the chandelier's oppressively bright light. The roast beef, my father's attempt at a celebratory meal, sits cooling on the platter, its rich aroma lost in the thick atmosphere of desperation. Marcus, honey, my mother begins, her voice trembling slightly. I think there's been a terrible misunderstanding about Mia's research, about everything. Your mother is right, my father adds, his voice cracking. He tries to project an air of paternal authority, but it's a hollow echo. His wine glass shakes in his liver-spotted hand. We've always been proud of both our children. Perhaps we didn't always show it in the right way. They are trying to rewrite history, to smooth over years of blatant favoritism and willful ignorance with a few carefully chosen, meaningless words. I say nothing. I simply look at them, letting the silence stretch until it is taut and uncomfortable. Mia enters the dining room like a ghost. The vibrant, confident girl who captivated professors and stole my life is gone. In her place is a hollow-eyed shell, her face pale and drawn. She doesn't take a seat at the table. Instead, she walks slowly to my chair and sinks to her knees on the expensive Persian rug. She grabs my sleeve, her hands clutching the fabric with a desperate, trembling strength. Marcus, I'm sorry, she whispers, the words catching in her throat. I know what I did was wrong, but I was scared. I was always so scared. You were always so much smarter, so much better at it than me. It was so easy for you. I just wanted a piece of that. Tears, real and hot, streamed down her face, mixing with the remnants of the mascara that had once been part of her invincible armor. Her sobs are a raw, ugly sound in the quiet room, broken only by the relentless, judgmental ticking of the grandfather clock in the hall. The next day, Jake appears at my dorm room door. He looks like he's aged 10 years in a few weeks. He's holding his official expulsion papers, the thick cardstock crumpled in his fist. I lost everything, Marcus, he says, his voice hoarse. The hallway's fluorescent lighting makes his face look gaunt and sallow. I can smell the stale alcohol on his breath. My scholarship, my future, my entire reputation, it's all gone. He leans against the doorframe, his eyes bloodshot and pleading. I'm begging you. Just talk to the dean. Say it was a misunderstanding. Say I got carried away, that we were partners and I just messed up the paperwork, anything. He looks at me, searching for the old, pliable Marcus. Please, man. We were friends. We were best friends. That has to count for something, right? Dr. Chen's office has been cleared out. His books, his awards, his entire professional life are packed away in sterile cardboard boxes stacked like tombstones around his empty desk. He intercepts me on the campus quad as I'm walking to my new lab. His once proud academic bearing is gone, replaced by a shuffling, desperate humility. Marcus, Dr. Chen, forgive me, he says, rushing to keep up with my stride. I was a fool, a proud, arrogant old fool. I can make this right. We can issue a retraction. Joint authorship, full attribution on all future work, whatever you want. Just don't let this be the end of my career. Students give us a wide berth as we walk, their whispers following us like a trail of dead leaves. His expensive cologne can't mask the sour, acidic scent of his fear. She finds me in the library's main reading room, where shafts of late afternoon sun paint golden, dusty rectangles on the long wooden tables. She looks different. The easy, confident smile is gone. I never really saw you before, did I? She says, her voice quiet, almost shy. Her vanilla perfume is the same, but everything else has changed. I was so focused on the loud successes, the obvious stars, that I missed the real genius sitting right there. She looks down at her hands, then back up at me, her eyes full of a desperate, pleading sincerity. I was a fool, Marcus. I was shallow. And I'm so sorry. I know I don't deserve another chance, but maybe we could get a coffee, start over. I understand now. I understand how special you are. The great library, with its millions of words, seems to hold its breath, waiting for my one. They gather in my parents' living room. It feels like a wake. My parents, Mia, Jake, Dr. Chen, even Emma. They sit scattered on the plush sofas and armchairs, a miserable collection of ghosts from my past. The coffee table holds a tray of untouched refreshments and a box of tissues. We all made mistakes, my father begins, his voice barely a whisper. Terrible mistakes, but family forgives. He's right, sweetheart, my mother adds, nodding vigorously, her hands twisting her wedding ring into her finger. You've proven your point. You've won. Now, can't we let it go? Can't we heal? They all look at me, their faces a chorus of hope and desperation. They believe this is the final scene of the play, the moment of catharsis and forgiveness, where the hero magnanimously absolves them of their sins so that everyone can feel good about themselves again. I stand by the fireplace, the warmth, the comforting pressure against my back. I look at each of their faces in turn, seeing them clearly for the first time. They are not monsters. They are just weak, selfish, and afraid. Scene 7, the calm refusal. A single word leaves my lips. It is not loud, it is not angry, it is steady and final, and it cuts through the thick air of their hope like a shard of glass. No. I watch their faces crumble in unison. Hope dies in their eyes, like candles being snuffed out in a sudden wind. I appreciate the apologies, I continue, my voice even and calm. I believe you are sorry for the consequences. But forgiveness requires trust, and trust requires fundamental change. You are all still the same people who chose to steal, to betray, to dismiss, and to overlook. You haven't changed, you've just lost. The grandfather clock in the hall begins to chime 8 o'clock, each bong a heavy, final punctuation mark. I leave them sitting there in that suffocatingly polite living room, their tears mixing with the cloying scent of my mother's lavender potpourri. I don't say another word. There is nothing left to say. The front door closes behind me with a soft, definitive click. The sound of freedom, the cool October air fills my lungs, crisp and clean with the promise of change and the distant, pleasant smell of wood smoke from a neighbor's chimney. My footsteps echo on the quiet sidewalk as I walk away from that house, away from that life, towards my own future. The streetlights flicker on, one by one, illuminating a path that is finally, unequivocally, mine. As I reach the corner of the block, some impulse makes me turn and look back one last time. They are all there, crowded at the big picture window, their faces pale and distorted, pressed against the glass. They look like specters, ghosts of a past that I am finally, truly ready to leave behind. 6 months later, I stand on the wraparound balcony of my penthouse apartment in Silicon Valley. The morning sun is just beginning to burn the fog off the bay, painting the water in strokes of liquid gold. The coffee in my favorite ceramic mug steams in the cool California air, its rich, dark aroma mixing with the sweet scent of jasmine climbing the trellis from the garden below. My company, Quantum Solutions, a startup I founded with a portion of the prize money and a healthy dose of venture capital, has just secured its third major government contract. The city sprawls beneath me, a complex and beautiful network of glass and steel, dreams and data. It's a city of infinite possibilities, and for the first time in 2 lifetimes, I feel truly, deeply at peace. The lecture hall at MIT is packed to the rafters, every seat filled with the bright, eager faces of the next generation of engineers and scientists. They are turned toward me, listening with a rapt attention I never could have imagined before. I'm discussing the future of cryptographic security, not as a student, but as a leading expert. The key to true innovation, I tell them, my voice calm and confident, amplified by the microphone, is understanding that brilliance often comes from the most unexpected places. Value your quiet contributors. They are often the ones building the foundation. Their laughter is warm and genuine, a sound of shared understanding so different from the forced, polite applause I'd endured for years. After the lecture, esteemed professors, men and women whose work I have admired for years, crowd around, seeking not to dismiss me, but to seek my expertise, my collaboration. The irony is not lost on me, but the anger is gone. I find I no longer need their validation to feel my own worth. Sarah from the NSA, the woman who knew me first as the enigmatic Dr. Finch, has become more than just a professional contact. She has become a friend. She was the one who sent the anonymous message, a professional courtesy to let me know I wasn't alone in my fight. We meet for dinner at a small, unpretentious Italian restaurant in North Beach, the kind of place with checkered tablecloths and candlelight that dances in intelligent, curious eyes. "You know what I love about you, Marcus?" she says, swirling the red wine in her glass. "You let your work speak first and your ego second. In our line of work, that's almost unheard of." The pasta is perfect, the wine rich and complex, but it is her company, her easygoing wit and sharp mind, that makes the evening memorable. Later, as we walk along the Embarcadero, the lights of the Bay Bridge twinkling in the distance, I realize I've found something I hadn't even known I was looking for. A connection based on mutual respect, not on need or deception. The United Nations ceremony in Geneva is a surreal, almost out-of-body experience. I stand at a podium in the Great Assembly Hall surrounded by marble columns and the flags of the world. I listen as world leaders and tech visionaries praise the new encryption protocols my company has developed. Protocols that will now protect global communications, financial markets, and critical infrastructure. When it's my turn to speak, I don't talk about algorithms or quantum states. I talk about the power of persistence, of creating value through quiet, relentless excellence, rather than loud self-promotion. The delegates from 190 countries applaud. Later, at the reception, sipping champagne that tastes like a different, cleaner kind of victory, ambassadors and CEOs seek me out, eager to discuss how my work can help their people, their economies, their futures. This is a satisfaction far deeper than revenge. My mother's letter arrives on my 31st birthday. It's handwritten on simple, elegant stationery, her penmanship as careful and controlled as her words. She doesn't ask for forgiveness or demand a reconciliation. She simply provides an update. Mia is working at a local bookstore, taking classes at the community college. "She's quiet now," Mom writes. Dad has taken an early retirement. He spends his days gardening. It is a quiet, small life they lead in the suburbs. "We think of you often and hope you are happy," the letter concludes. "We understand if you need your distance." I set the letter on my desk next to a framed photograph I took of the northern lights during a recent trip to Iceland. Reading her words, I don't feel anger, I don't feel triumph. For the first time, I feel a sliver of compassion. Not forgiveness, not yet, but something gentler, something that allows me to let them go. I drive down to the Monterey coastline on impulse, a sudden, urgent need for the vastness of the ocean after weeks of board meetings and contract negotiations. I park my car and climb down a rocky path to a secluded beach. The waves crash against rocks that have been worn smooth by millennia of this same relentless rhythm. The salt spray kisses my face, cool and cleansing. I take off my shoes, my bare feet sinking into the cool, damp sand. A pair of seagulls cry overhead, their voices a wild, free sound against the eternal roar of the tide against the shore. I watch as the sun melts into the horizon, a spectacular, fiery blaze that paints the sky in impossible shades of orange and purple, and finally, a deep, triumphant peace. As the last sliver of light disappears, I finally understand what freedom tastes like. It tastes like salt and wind and solitude. Back in my study that night, the city lights twinkling like a field of terrestrial stars outside my floor-to-ceiling windows, I open my laptop. The drive that once fueled my revenge now fuels my curiosity. I begin sketching out the framework for my next breakthrough. Not for a weapon or defense system. This time, it's an application of quantum computing for advanced medical research, a way to model protein folding that could unlock cures for diseases that have plagued humanity for centuries. Work that could save millions of lives. The equations flow from my fingers like music, each calculation a note, each line of code a verse in a beautiful, meaningful symphony. I smile. I am building again. And this time, when I change the world, it will be entirely on my own terms. And that, I realize, was worth everything I went through to get here. As I'm getting ready for bed, the soft chime of an email notification sounds from my laptop. I glance at the screen. The email is from a young graduate researcher at a small Midwestern university. He is a fan of Dr. Finch's work. He writes that his supervising professor is pressuring him to add his name to the student's research, and he is afraid of the repercussions if he refuses. He is asking for advice on how to protect his intellectual property. I sit down and begin to type my response, my fingers moving quickly over the keys. I remember the helpless, powerless feeling of watching my work be stolen, my efforts dismissed, my voice silenced. I remember the cold dread and the burning injustice. The most important thing to remember, I write, is that true value can't be stolen, only temporarily misattributed. Document everything, build your proof, and most importantly, never stop doing the work. Let your excellence be your ultimate, irrefutable defense. As I hit send, a profound sense of clarity washes over me. My greatest revenge wasn't the public downfall of my enemies. It wasn't the awards, or the recognition or the wealth. It was this moment. The chance to use the pain of my past in both my lives to help someone else secure their future.